Hello everyone, it's been a long time since I've come onto my YouTube and I wanted to do a video I think it was last week or the week before, because I had just finished my creative writing, the second creative writing session, and it was amazing. And honestly, I don't think I want to stop them. The last one was supposed to be in March, and then I'd see if I would be able to continue, but I want to keep going. I think they are great. And I've been so grateful to be able to meet more parents each time. I don't like every time I say I'm grateful, obviously, like, none of us are grateful to be in this position, absolutely not. But grateful to know that there is something that exists that brings people together to do stuff about their baby. And let me tell you something, the power of creativity when it comes to grief and loss, that cannot be underestimated. We cannot underestimate the power of being a creative. That is the one thing that we human beings have, and it's being creative. It's having ideas, sparking ideas, and just making things happen. Some people are incredible at drawing. Like, I'm doing a few days at a school just here and there to top up my wage, since I did leave my job. And I've been working in a special needs school, and there was a child there, and he was incredible at drawing. And his language isn't, he can't communicate as well with his language, but he communicates with his drawing. He got everything out, and it was so effortless. It's like breathing. I always say this about writing. Writing should feel like breath. You are just breathing. There's no such thing as good writing, right? There are obviously people who are great writers in the sense that they've done it long enough and they can put out an idea in a way that can transcend and connect to so many different people. But when you're writing, you're just expressing your authentic self, like it's true to you. There's no someone that can tell you. I remember in school, actually, I feel like I'm going on different tangents here, but bear with me. I remember in school, and English was my favorite subject. And every time I wrote an essay or something, I would always get the back. I'd always get the compliment, not the compliment, sorry. I'd always get a note, feedback, that's it, to say, it always felt like it wasn't good enough, which is understandable because obviously that's how you, when you're young, what do you really know in terms of writing, right? You're still learning to express yourself. So, and the way that those comments came across, it always was like, oh damn, maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. And really and truly, that shouldn't matter. That shouldn't matter. Like, you're just writing, and writing is something that you learn and evolve and you keep doing, and that's it. You grow with it. It grows as you grow. Obviously, in school, what do I really know? I'm still growing and I'm still learning, right? And you will only write as much as you know. So I wish those comments kind of were written in a way to encourage learning. It kind of always made me feel like I wasn't good enough, but I still wrote anyway because I just enjoyed doing it. But I was like, I'll never be a writer. Like, I wrote a play in 2019, and I don't know, I never thought I would be able to do something like that, because being an actor at the time, I thought that's all I was good at, until I realized, hold on, like, there's no stories in these monologues that I'm doing to get into drama school that connect or touch on experiences like mine of being a Black woman without having to have all these different layers of abuse and trauma. Obviously, I've gone through trauma now as an adult, and as an adult who doesn't experience that, as you go through life, you're going to experience trauma. But sometimes in your childhood and in your adolescence, in those years, in your teen years, like, you're supposed to not have experienced so much trauma. And I say supposed to because I know that there are some horrendous people in this world that will do some horrendous things to children, and that's not okay. Like, children and teenagers should be go through life seamlessly. Obviously, there are certain situations that you can't avoid, which is like where you live and your financial status, as you know, whatever your family has. But even then, right, there are families who make the most of what they have and still know how to pass on love care and affection to their children, but there are people that don't know how to do that, and that's the sad thing. So because I had an amazing childhood and an amazing teen years. Like, I'm so grateful for my parents, and my family situation, that when I'm reading books and monologues about Black people and the stories aren't reflective of what I've experienced, it just felt like something was missing. And so I decided to write a story, and then my story was about Angola and Brazil. It was still about trauma because really and truly, like, good stories do need to have some drama, right? I think most stories have something dramatic happening, but it wasn't the same old, you know, experiences. But yes, creative writing, when you experience loss, let me tell you, creativity in general, but creative writing, I found, was really great. And in the sessions that we had in the last one, there was a group of 8 of us, I think, and I've been doing each session based on the season of the year. So sorry, why am I saying season of the year? Based on our senses. So the first session was the sense of sound, just listening to things and like paying attention to what we can listen to in that moment and what that can inspire us to write. Like, I gave different prompts, and like music that we connect with our children. And if you could write a story based on the music that you connect with your children, what would you focus on? What element of that song would you focus on? Would you focus on the drums? Would you focus on the bass, how that feels? Would you focus on the words? Would you focus on the storyline in the actual song? And how would you then make that happen? Like, what would you do as your stimulus, if that was your stimulus? And then this last one, it was the sense of touch, and just noticing different textures, noticing the last touch that we had with our child, remembering that, using that as a prompt, the touch maybe of somebody who supported you, like, how did that touch make you feel? And if you could write about that touch. So one of the things that we did was an exercise where I wrote a sentence, and the first sentence was the only sentence that everyone knew, and it was, "She felt a feather land on her shoulder." I think I shared the short of the poem that we ended up creating on my YouTube, so maybe have a look at that. So it's, "She felt a feather land on her shoulder." And then this is the only sentence that everyone, all 8 of us, I think, knew. And then I folded that, and I said, the next person is going to write something after that. And then you're going to fold the paper, and on top of where you folded, you're just going to write the last word of what you wrote. So whoever comes next only knows the last word, and they have to continue on the storyline without knowing what was actually written, only knowing the last word. As I read the poem after we'd done everything, oh my days, it was like one person wrote that. It was so seamless, it was so beautiful, it made so much sense, it was raw, it was real, it was hard, it was beautiful. We were all like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we did that. It was, honestly, yeah, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. So that was the creative writing thing we did. And then another part of the session was thinking of different textures. So if a texture was a texture that meant something to you or means something to you, whether that's like satin, whether that's velvet, whether it's wool, and just write where that takes you. And some people wrote about the texture of, let's say, the last thing their baby wore, and they wrote a poem about that and what that made them feel and what that brought to them. And I just thought it was so beautiful, finding different things to connect with our children. One of the things that I'm really passionate about is that I don't want to think of my child as trauma. I do think these two things can be real and true at once, right? My daughter isn't the trauma or the tragedy. The tragedy and the trauma is what happened to her. She's love, she's joy, she's an innocent baby deserving of love and affection. And so the creative writing workshops are for people who want to have a space to be able to do that. So if you are from London, I really encourage you to join us. Come to the creative writing sessions every second Saturday of the month in Lea Bridge Library in Leighton, East London. And I'm also looking for a way to do it online. The next session is on the 13th of December. So hopefully see you there. Bye.